As someone who's worked in the nutritional supplement industry for over 10 years and knows all the dirty little secrets about how they're researched, marketed, and sourced, I'll be sharing the 5 that you actually should consider and the science behind why. The first of these is vitamin D. Now, vitamin D has some pretty good evidence at this point to support its use for things like bone health, immune health, and healthy function of the cell cycle. But you might want to dismiss me off the bat for saying this because vitamin D in recent years has been so hyped up in terms of being great for this cure, for this treatment, for this infection, cancer, everything, etc. And so we should be really clear about what we're discussing here. The evidence I'll share with you on why you should consider supplementing with vitamin D, as well as the others I'll share on this list, isn't because they treat, prevent, or cure any disease. To be clear, no supplement does that. Instead, it's because from a functional or nutritional standpoint, there's reasonable evidence that they support your overall health. After all, let's remember what the word supplement actually means. It literally means to add on. The responsible way to use any supplement is to first focus on a healthy plant-based diet, regular exercise, quality sleep, and stress reduction, which are the real pillars of disease prevention, and then add on a few key supplements simply to support those foundations. Way too many people are using supplements in place of these foundations. When it comes to vitamin D, about 42% of US adults are deficient in it, and getting all the vitamin D we need from food alone can be difficult, especially in the fall and winter when vitamin D we get from the sun naturally declines. And studies have shown that absorption of this vital nutrient might be even more inhibited in obese individuals and also people of color. And so if you're in any of these categories, your requirements for vitamin D might even be even higher. The biggest food sources of vitamin D include salmon, tuna, shrimp, and milk. There are many reasons you might not want to consume these foods regularly though, including concerns of mercury exposure, allergies, and other health concerns. Dosage recommendations for this vitamin vary from 400 IUs per day all the way up to 5,000 IUs per day. You can overdose on this vitamin though, since it's what's called a fat-soluble vitamin and therefore not easily excreted by the body. So don't think more is better here. Which leads us to an important point. Keep in mind that none of this is an official recommendation that you use these supplements. Just like when we're even discussing food choices. Not every supplement is for everyone because of genetic differences, lifestyle differences, etc. So as always, whether to supplement with something or not is a decision between you and your doctor. And that takes us to number 2 on this list, proanthocyanidins. These compounds have a funny name, but these are responsible for many of the colorful pigments we see in fruits and vegetables. There are a handful of double-blind placebo-controlled studies on these compounds, but not a ton. Despite that, there's ample evidence that, much like they protect the skins of fruits and vegetables, they may have beneficial effects for cardiovascular health, brain health, eye health, joint health, and skin health. Once again, your best source of these nutrients is food sources, which include red grapes, blueberries, elderberries, and red wine. Essentially, think anything with deep blue, purple, or red pigments. However, it's not always practical to get these from food sources alone on a daily or even a weekly or monthly basis, so supplementing with these nutrients might also be beneficial. They also have the advantage of not being fat soluble like vitamin D, so it's really hard to overdose on these. Although, of course, be sensible, you always want to still check your dosages. One of the main problems with supplementing with proanthocyanidins, though, is finding a reliable source. In fact, especially if you live in the US, it's a problem for all the supplements on this list. In 2022, the American Medical Association released a warning about the 50,000 to 80,000 supplements on the market that the FDA is simply unaware of, meaning there are more ingredients and supplements on the market that the FDA doesn't know about than that they do know about. And that's because according to the DSHEA Act, enforcement of what's actually in supplements and oversight of what's in supplements is only enforced after supplements are on the market and not actually before they go on the market. Crazy, right? Meanwhile, most US consumers simply assume that if it's on a store shelf, then it must be in compliance with the law, right? Well, results of a large-scale 2018 study demonstrated that significant numbers of supplements on store shelves contained either the wrong dosage of ingredients listed on the label, additional ingredients not listed on the label, or none of the ingredients listed on the label. So because it's actually pretty hard to know if what you think you're taking is what you're actually taking, I'll discuss later on some red flags to look out for that a product probably isn't being transparent, and also how to overcome that and find better products with higher quality standards. So then let's discuss the third nutrient on this list, DHA and EPA from fish oil supplements. We've all heard of these, but I want to clear up a huge misconception that most of us have. Although research has shown beneficial effects on blood pressure and triglycerides from these nutrients, there's no evidence that fish oil helps reduce cholesterol levels, and there's mixed evidence with regards to their ability to help reduce the risk of cardiovascular issues like strokes and heart attack. However, the fact remains that they're both key anti-inflammatory nutrients that are essential components of healthy cells, allowing the cells to stay supple enough to let nutrients in and toxins out, and they play a huge role in joint health, skin health, eye health, and brain health. In fact, there's a growing body of research suggesting potential mental health benefits of supplementing with these nutrients, especially among military personnel. Is all this research conclusive? No, but there's relatively little risk of supplementing with these nutrients for most people, and eating enough fish and fish products every single week to get adequate blood levels of DHA and EPA can be impractical. And as mentioned before, consuming fish and fish products on a weekly basis might even carry its own risks of exposure to mercury contamination and other contaminants. The fourth nutrient on this list is actually a complex of related nutrients, specifically B-complex vitamins. These include B1, B2, B6, B12, and others. These vitamins have a variety of functions in the body, but you can simply think of them as essential for energy production and nervous system health. A lot can go wrong when we're deficient in these vitamins, and they're easily depleted by lifestyle factors such as caffeine consumption, alcohol consumption, the use of certain medications, increased stress or anxiety, and even exercise. They're also easily excretable because they're what's called water soluble, so it's hard to overdose on them. However, overdosing on them is possible in large quantities, and the form of them also matters for the potential for overdosing, so just as always, be sensible with your dosage. Some research has shown benefits of these vitamins for those with stress and mood concerns, so although using a B-complex vitamin isn't necessary or even helpful for everyone, you might consider looking into one if these factors or lifestyle behaviors apply to you. The fifth and final supplement is something you might not expect: whey protein. Many of us don't get enough protein, and oftentimes it's pretty difficult to incorporate all the protein we need into our diet. Studies have shown that incorporating a good whey protein into our diet may actually help maintain cholesterol levels, particularly the LDL, or what's called the bad cholesterol levels. And it's also often just a very convenient way to replace otherwise sugary or unhealthy snacks you might be craving. And so in addition to keeping us full, it's one of the best and most practical ways to keep our weight in check, to help our focus, and also other areas of our body's function. There are definitely some other supplements here that I didn't list that do have some evidence to support their use. However, with the problems that I mentioned earlier about transparency in the supplement industry, how do we actually choose supplements that contain what they say they contain and which also follow good sourcing practices? That's exactly what we'll discuss in the next video.